Yeah, and of course, this is about not just the mothers, the families, the children, and what future they're having
Precisely.
and what the best outcome for them is. So, if this stick approach, if you like, has been removed for this cohort, the 2/3, I'll talk about 1/3 in a moment, for those 2/3 who were worse off and were not getting into work for whatever reason, we still need to want and encourage them if they can, if they're in a position to enter the workforce. That would be best for them and best for the economy if it suits their situation. What sort of carrot approach could help in that regard, do you think?
Well, I think what our research also shows is by nature of these different groups of mothers who are subject to slightly different policy settings, we're also able to show that the mutual obligations, what Centrelink would have referred to as the requirements, as you referred to, for single mothers to either get a job or volunteer or seek education to kind of continue to receive this payment. What we see is that those weren't very effective. What we know from other research, international research and research within Australia, is that what does work is very, very targeted approaches, that case management, effective case management, that actually talks to these mothers and says, well, what are the 18 challenges you're facing? How can we actually assist you with those 18 challenges rather than just one simple solution for the same people?
Right.
One size doesn't always fit all.
Which I guess leads us to the 1/3 as well. So at the time when the change came in, the people in this 1/3 probably thought, gee, that's a bit harsh. But ultimately, part of this change meant they ended up being able to go out and get work, and presumably their families in a better situation. Maybe not in some circumstances. I know there's a big juggle, you're a single parent, but how do we make sure there's still that encouragement for the 1/3? We don't lose out on that progress, if you like, for the not the ones that are in work now. They're not going, I think they're going to quit tomorrow and go, great, I can go back onto a single parenting payment. But for other ones considering that in that position.
I think that's the million-dollar question, and I think that's what's really hard about designing policy. So what we often talk about, at least when we design policy within Policy Wongster at the Crawford School of Public Policy, is often you'll design policies for your average person. And what our research shows is when you look at what your average person looks like, it's a single mother who's facing lots of barriers, including domestic violence. So when you think about what's the best policy, well, in my view, the first best policy is actually a policy which, as you described, kind of separates these two groups, the minority from the majority, just because they seem to be kind of facing very, very different challenges. And as you say, to kind of allow them to thrive, that 1/3, but also kind of help the remaining majority kind of target all of the challenges they're facing. So it's the million-dollar question, and it's hard.